Happy Friday, all. Today in the video, I'd just like to spend a few moments thinking through an issue that is relevant and probably has been in our thought process a lot recently, and it's the issue of wearing masks. This issue, the topic of mask wearing, has unfortunately, over the last month and more, has caused a division, even among us as God's people. Maybe you're like me, and wearing a mask can be very frustrating, can be very challenging. With the heat and the humidity recently, wearing a mask is hot, especially if you're outside in the sun, like when I'm at Lowe's trying to get stuff in the garden center. Maybe wearing a mask is uncomfortable. I know depending on what my facial hair is like for that day, masks can be itchy. So maybe you hate wearing a mask and you just do not want to do it. But right now, when we are out in the public, when we are at church, when we go places, we are required to wear masks, and we're being asked to wear masks. So this is just something to think through for a few moments. And recently, the Gospel Coalition and its author, Brett McCracken, wrote an article entitled 4 Reasons to Wear a Mask, Even If You Hate It. And I think it's a really good written article, and his 4 points come straight from Scripture. And I just wanted to highlight them for us here as we think about this process and we think about masks ourselves as a church. The first reason he gives in the article about why we should wear a mask, even if we hate it, even if we don't want to, is because wearing a mask is a demonstration of an obedience to the second great command, right? We get in Matthew's gospel there in chapter 22, Jesus is asked, what is the first and great command? And Jesus says it's to love the Lord your God with all your being. And then second, just like it is to love your neighbor as yourself. We wear a mask not because of us, but because we love our neighbors, because we don't want to get them infected. We don't want to spread our germs to them, especially those who are more susceptible or more high risk. So we wear masks to fulfill and obey this command from Jesus Christ right there in Matthew 22, verse 39, loving our neighbors. The second reason he gives in the article that we should wear a mask even if it irritates our skin is because it's a sign and an act of showing respect and submission to authorities. First, this comes through like Romans 13, right? When our government asks us to do something. Right now, our government is requiring masks when we go to public places. Our government is requiring and asking us to wear masks when we're even out in public outside. This is an opportunity for us as Christians to honor God by showing respect and submission to those governing officials. And even more, us as a church family, as your elders, we are asking you guys to wear masks. And when you come to church wearing a mask, you're showing a sign of submission and respect to us here as elders. So this is a second reason we should desire to wear a mask, even when it's something that we hate doing. It's honoring and glorifying God by showing respect and honor to the authorities God has placed in our lives. The third reason he mentions that we should wear a mask even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's hot, is because we are honoring those who are weak in our midst. As I said, we wear a mask to love our neighbor and to protect our neighbor, especially those who are high risk, who are elderly, who the disease could be deadly for, right? We consider them and we place them above ourselves, the weak, those who are older, those who are more stricken physically than us. So we want to show we love them and we are honoring them in our church family when we wear masks. And the fourth reason is that we use this opportunity to wear masks in the freedom we are given for the sake of the gospel, right? We have freedoms. In essence, wearing a mask is a Christian liberty topic from Scripture. But in our Christian liberties, we must demonstrate and live out what the gospel teaches us. Love for others, grace and mercy, and kindness and compassion for others. The same kindness, compassion, and grace and mercy we have been given by God. So we want to demonstrate We want to live out the gospel in our lives. For the sake of the gospel, we're using this freedom and we're putting a mask on our face. I know it's probably uncomfortable. I know it's hot. I know it's maybe irritating, but we can glorify God the best right now by loving our neighbors, by demonstrating and living the gospel, by honoring those who are more susceptible and prone to death because of the virus, and by showing honor and respect and submission to those authorities God has in our lives. So these are just some thoughts that the article points out for why we should wear a mask. And I just hope that this helps you think through the reasons why we should be wearing a mask right now, even when it is something we maybe are fighting against and even hate to do. I pray this brings you encouragement today and you continue to glorify God in your life.